Hola, buenos días. Hola, buenas tardes, año 9. So here we've got a lesson for revision. We're going to do just some revision activities before our double lesson. I have prepared different tenses activities and translation activities. Now, you might not be able to get to the end of the lesson, but do not worry because you're going to be revising for this, for the assessment in our double lesson this week. What you need to do is to come back to this recorded lesson and complete. It's another way of revision, okay? So let's start with tenses revision. So here you've got this activity. We're looking at the present, el presente. As you know, we use the present tense when we are talking about what we are doing now or what we do in general, okay? So you've got here some time phrases. I want you to write the time phrases in Spanish, and then next to it, you're gonna write the translation in English. I'm gonna give you the answers just by writing the number and the letter, okay? So give yourself about 5 minutes to do this activity, okay? Write the Spanish, and then next to it, you're gonna put the English translation, the correct English translation. Give yourself 5 minutes. I will show you the correction of these activities later on, okay? So once you completed that, well done. Moving on to the next activity. So in here, you've got, again, talking about the present, you've got the verb, los verbos hablar, beber y vivir. They finish in AR, ER, and IR. As you know, what I want you to do is to conjugate. Now, in order not to spend a lot of time completing this activity, because I am giving you between 3 to 5 minutes to do this, all you need to do is to write the verbs. One line, you using line paper. So one line down, you do write down the pronouns, and then just make this line, this line, this line, and this line. That's it. Okay, if you wanna draw a lovely table, please do this at the end. Don't do it now while you're doing the activity. Write the information you got, and then complete the tables. Again, I'm gonna give you the answers later on, okay? So you got about 3 to 5 minutes to do this activity. Give yourself that time. The next activity is looking at the past tense, el pretérito, el pretérito, okay? El pretérito. I should say the pretérits. So let me just, el pretérito, el pretérito, there we go, okay? So, el pretérito. So what you're going to do is that you're going to write the Spanish, and next to it, you're going to translate into English, okay? Just as you can see in my example. Please make sure that you got the Spanish and then the translation in English. You're revising. It's important that you've got both. Again, give yourself 3 to 5 minutes to do this activity. I will give you the answers in a moment. Then we're looking again at the preteritus. Now, you have conjugated verbs in the present tense. Now, we're going to be looking verbs in the present tense, regular verbs. Okay, so you remember the stem stay the same. What it changes is the ending. Here, some verbs, as you know, do not follow the pattern of the regular verbs, and these are called irregular verbs. Unfortunately for you, in Spanish, we've got loads of irregular verbs, okay? And you really must memorize the common ones. And I have put those here. So the verb that you normally use when you're learning any subject is ir, to go, ser, to be, hacer, to do, ver, to see. Okay, exactly as you did with the other table. I don't want you to spend time drawing a table. Make the best you can. Can you please write the verbs at the top, one line down, write the pronouns, fill in the lines with the information you are giving, and complete the table with the correct verb form. Okay, now important to say is that the verbs ir and ser have the same forms in the preterite tense, and you should use context to work out which one is meant. So, for example, I can say, mi padre fue médico. So my dad was a doctor. But I can also say, mi padre fue a Madrid de vacaciones. My dad went to Madrid on holidays. So I'm using fue, but one is to go and the other fue is to be. So that's what I want you to do. So you need to have the verb into context to know if it means ir or ser. Okay, that's all. give yourself the same, about 6 minutes to complete this activity. And then the last of revising tenses is this activity, but you're going to be doing 3 things in here. First, you're going to copy these sentences. And next to it, you're going to tell me if they are in the present tense, writing a P, or in the preterite tense, writing PT or PT, okay? Then, once you've got that, what we're going to do is that what you're going to do, you're going to change all these sentences to the near future tense, because that's the one that we need to revise now. You've done a bit of the present preterite, now the near future tense. All these sentences have to be in the near future tense, okay? And then once you've done that, but you're going to wait for me to give you the answers, then you're going to translate those, okay? So let's have a look at, vamos a corregir. So let's have a look at the correction. So the first one, I wanted you to find the correct translation for these time phrases. So you got here the answers, okay? Check your work, mark, and write down your score, because with this revision, it's very important that you can see how well you're doing, okay? So check your scores, please. Check, mark, and write your scores. Then for the second one, I ask you to conjugate each of these verbs, hablar, beber, vivir, okay? So there you go, all the answers. So hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, habláis, hablan, and so on. As you can say, the stem of the verb stays the same, but what is changing is the ending as soon as we take the AR away, okay? 15 verbs you needed to write. How many have you written correctly, okay? So write your scores, please. Then I ask you to translate these phrases into English. Excuse me. I want you to write the Spanish, as in my example, and I want you to translate into English, okay? So please check, mark, and write your scores. When you have done that, I want you to do this challenge. I want you to choose 2 phrases and make a sentence with it. Okay, so for example, ayer comiste patatas fritas y una hamburguesa. O vivimos en Inglaterra por muchos años. Okay, o mis hermanos bebieron Coca-Cola anoche. Okay, so just take 2 phrases and write 2 sentences. Right, then we have this table that you needed to complete. These are common irregular verbs that you learn in many topics, okay? So it's about 11 verbs that you needed to include on the table. Please check, mark, and write your scores, okay? Have a look, see if there is an accent on the verb. Is very important in the preterite, because that is what is telling you the verb is in the preterite tense. Okay, make sure the spelling are correct. Check and mark and write down your score, okay? And this is the last activity that you needed to do, that you have 3 different things to do. So the first one is to copy the sentences and then tell me they are in the present or the preterite. So, voy a la playa is in the present tense. Como salchichas is in the present tense. Hablaron con mis padres is in the preterite tense. Juan y Marta juegan al tenis is in the present tense. Visitasteis los museos en Berlín is in the preterite tense. Y Juan fue al médico is in the preterite tense. Okay, so well done for all of you. That I am sure that you were able to recognize the tenses. Please check, mark, and write down your score. And then I said to you to change all these sentences to the near future tense. Okay, so remember, you have to write the verb ir plus a plus the verb in infinitive. Okay, so voy a ir a la playa, voy a comer salchichas, van a hablar con mis padres, Juan y Marta van a jugar al tenis, vais a visitar los museos en Berlín y Juan va a ir al médico. Okay, so well done. Again, check, mark, and write your scores. And then I ask you to translate each of the sentences, okay? Once you have marked it. So here is the translation for all the sentences in the near future tense. Please, again, check, mark, and write down your scores. So possibly at this moment in the video, many of you have gotten up to here, or maybe not, okay? Just keep going. If the 40 minutes has arrived, you stop, okay? So then for vocabulary, I just given you a few translations to do, which is just these activities. So these activities cover different topics that you learn from September, okay? The ones in blue means that you're translating from Spanish to English, which it tends to be easier. And the other ones in brown color means that you are translating from English to Spanish, which it tends to be more difficult, okay? I want you to write these sentences, so copy these sentences and then translate into accordingly. Now, if you haven't been able to get to this point of the lesson, do not worry. Like I said, this is a recorded lesson and you may come back to this to complete the lesson as revision, okay? But you remember you're doing 40 minutes of your lesson. And these are the correction for the sentences. Okay, what I want you to do is to check and mark and write down your score. If you have many mistakes, my advice is that you rewrite your sentences again. And if you have managed to do everything, then keep revising the different topics and grammar learned in September throughout the week. Catching up with work will give you the opportunity to revise on grammar and vocab. So if there is any activities that you haven't completed in other lessons, please go back to them. They are all in YouTube and you can always access them. And it's a very good tool and resource for revision, okay? You can go back to this lesson as well in order to do revision. Please check the targets that you have been setting to yourself. Have you met them? If you haven't, you need to work on them to improve further. Okay, so you can do very well in the assessment in our double lesson. And that's it, guys. This is our revision lesson before our double lesson. Keep please revising. If you got any questions, please ask the teacher in your lesson. And I will be seeing you in a few days' time. Okay, enjoy the day and I'll talk to you soon. Adios.